to talk about some of our activities.
Okay.
And then Eric will introduce you, and it will be
So,
yourself.
okay, thank you.
And I would guess that we'll have to announce that if anybody has questions, they should do it on the chat button. Eric, is that?
Yes, typically how we do it.
Yeah.
And Barry will get the questions.
Okay.
I'll see them, though I will tell you, you've got about 24 people, so yes, I'll get the questions.
We're expecting about 56 to 60 people.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's a lot.
I've already started the recording. I'll edit where the actual meeting begins, but just for
Okay.
you to know. So if
Yes,
there's
we are recording this so that some of our residents and members who could not be here today will be able to see it on our website.
Good.
Yeah. Thanks to Barry, we are being so advanced in what we do.
That's pretty scary, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Believe me, if they think I'm technologically advanced, boy, are they in the Stone Age.
Oh, come
Yeah, Barry German likes to call us troglodytes. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Troglodytes.
There's another Barry. And Ann didn't get that humor because she's not from here.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Talk, Howard, do something.
Oh, I see that you're there. I'm digesting who is signed in yet.
Barry just came in, Barry Schlossberg. I'm
Okay.
gonna put his video on.
Yeah.
As soon as I can figure out which one is him. There he is. Okay, so I'm gonna ask him to start. There he is.
Morning, Barry.
What are you
Morning,
doing,
Merrill.
Leave it right there, Barry. That's perfect. Now you got to unmute yourself. No, not that way.
What are you doing?
Barry, you were fine the other way.
It's up in the corner.
Barry, horizontal, not vertical. That's it. Leave it that way that's perfect. Now unmute yourself and you're all set.
He's muted.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to do that. Let me ask him again.
Merrill, will you unmute it?
There you go, Barry.
I know that. You know what? I can't seem to get it on my iPad. I'm on my phone, but whatever.
Leonard, I apologize. I'm stopping your video because we're just having the presenters today.
What am I supposed to do?
Just
Mute
stay right
yourself.
there.
Yeah.
All
I
done.
mean, Schlossberg's a presenter.
Yeah, he paid
I go
100.
next door and have breakfast, Barry.
Yeah. Well, did you get the gefilte fish and the bagels today?
I got the gefilte fish in the refrigerator, no bagels.
Barry, would you mute everybody else?
I'll be glad to.
Okay, it's approaching 9:05 and one more minute, we'll get started. One of the good things about the Zoom meetings, for most of us, is that the discussions are quick and dirty. And they don't lag on for forever, at least the ones that I host.
Except at a board meeting. What are you talking about?
Well, I knew you'd chime in. I wasn't going to say it.
Well, at
Eli,
least
could you mute yourself, please?
Want me to mute? It's okay.
I'll do it. By the way, if everyone wants to be in the speaker view as opposed to the gallery view, that way we will see the person that is speaking at that time. Just try to use the speaker view.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, why don't we get started? I'm happy to welcome everybody, although we can't see you. We know you're here, and hope that everything is good in your households. This has probably been the craziest year that most of us have seen, and this is my 6th year as president of the men's club, not consecutive, but this is just the craziest thing that I've ever seen. And, you know, we're trying our best to keep everybody apprised of what we're doing. Our board has been meeting every month, thinking about activities that may occur when the pandemic is lessened, when we can all get back together in the social hall. And we just hope, I hope that everybody stays healthy and does what's right for yourselves, your friends, your neighbors, and so on. As I mentioned, the benefits of Zoom is that you can go out and get another cup of coffee while the presentation is going on. I don't agree with that, but you know, you can do that. I would have been happy to supply bagels and cream cheese, but alas, that was difficult too. So I just hope that, as I say, everybody is healthy. We have a couple of our vice presidents who will bring you up to date on a variety of things. So let me start with Barry Schlossberg. If you could just talk about the WIC.
Certainly. You guys hear me?
yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So at our last board meeting last Monday, I informed the board that I had a conversation with the WIC, and the WIC Theater has agreed to let those who already purchased tickets for the spring, they will allow us from March 4th to April 4th to see a chorus line at the matinee performance, whether it's on a Saturday or it's on a Wednesday. And what I will be doing, hopefully no later than tomorrow morning, I will send out an email to all the folks who already purchased tickets. And this is what the WIC is offering. As I said, they'll allow you to go see a chorus line either on a Saturday matinee or a Wednesday matinee from March 4th to April 4th. But if you choose not to go to any of the chorus line shows, they will offer up a gift certificate for each of you who've already purchased tickets, you know, for a future performance at the WIC Theater. So as I said, I will send out an email no later than tomorrow to everyone concerned who purchased the tickets.
Yeah, I think it took quite a while for us to reach this point, which we think is very fair and really in concert with some of the other organizations and venues that have been that have had to cancel shows. So Barry told me yesterday that he's going to get this out today. So thank you for that.
Welcome.
Okay. Okay. One of the big events coming up that we will share with the community is Veterans Day. And I know Chuck is on. If, Barry, if you can unmute him. And,
Yep.
and I'd like to ask Chuck to say a few words about where we stand with Veterans Day.
Chuck, you need to, Chuck,
Okay,
and
Show him.
hold on a second, I'm
Okay.
working on it. Chuck, I'm asking you to start your video, Chuck. You should be there.
There he is.
okay.
Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning. What the,
Chuck,
Get closer, Chuck.
what the Men's Club is doing, as we do every year, is to bring the community a celebration on Veterans Day. This year, because of Zoom, we're taking the approach that we will do it via Zoom. We are basically putting a program together. It will run somewhere about an hour. It will be done via Zoom. And we have a speaker from the VA who, they have a new project there where they built a 60-bed facility to help veterans live there over a period of time for homelessness, drug abuse, mental well-being. We are putting basically the same program together, and we will deliver it via Zoom, inviting the entire community, as we have in previous years, to attend.
Yeah, if I can just go a little further, Chuck. Typically, Ann, for your information, we do it in our social hall, and we get on the order of 450 people who come in, and it's a yearly event. It's absolutely wonderful. It's, I guess, probably our biggest event. It's open to the entire community, and it's a great tribute to all our vets. And Chuck has been the chair of that for several years now.
One thing I'd like to say is there will be a flyer going out to the community with not only the program, but ways in which the residents can in fact join and register. I have a meeting tomorrow with the representative from the VA to firm up some of the ways that we can bring him, and hopefully maybe one of the service representatives who is one of the residents in this program, to basically talk about how that program is helping him and the other veterans that are involved in the program.
Good, thank you. Yeah, this has been a challenge for us, and I think that the committee that we have has really come up with some novel ideas. We're trying to do as much in person as we can. It will be recorded so that it will be available on the website, the Men's Club website. And I thank Chuck for all his work and the committee also. So let me turn it over to Eric, who is our Vice President for on-site activities, as Barry is for off-site activities, and ask him to brief you on some of the Zoom events coming up and introduce Ann.
Yes, thank you very much, Howard. Our next event will be our regular breakfast meeting without breakfast. On October 18th, we have Jay Siegel. He's a former FBI agent, and he's going to talk about his undercover work with the mafia. So very cool. We're looking forward to that. On December 20th, we have Frank Serabino, who's a Palm Beach Post columnist, and he's all about whatever he wants. But
Yeah.
He's really a great speaker.
Yeah.
On on February 7th, we have Steve Friedman, a Broadway historian. And on March 7th, we have Michelle Couch Friedman, who's with the Elliott advocacy group. And she's going to be talking about solving travel problems. Now, we certainly hope that by March 7th, we will have the word travel in our vocabulary. And on April 18th, we have Barry Weinberg, a former Major League Baseball trainer. So there are a lot of exciting activities. If we have to do them by Zoom, we will. If by some great opportunity, the social will be open, they will be in the social hall. Now, today, it is my great honor to introduce our speaker for today, Ann Gannon, who is the constitutional tax collector for Palm Beach County since, I believe, 2006. Is that correct, Ann?
That is correct.
Okay, so please take it away, Ann.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me this morning. We kind of forget these things go on because of COVID, but we're beginning to see more and more people do programs like this, get back into what they used to do in a different way. So thank you for setting this up for me. I have been the elected Palm Beach County tax collector for 16 years. We added that up. I remember the first time I ran with Rick Bradshaw, so I got to know him pretty well on the campaign trail, because as you know, you can actually give someone else a speech by the time your campaign is over. So you don't really have to listen to them anymore, because you could give their speech for them, because you've listened to it many times in 4 or 5 months. So it's like a joke that candidates have. But I have enjoyed this office. It's been very challenging, particularly during COVID. As you know, if you want to go to, am I turning the slides, or are we just leaving them?
I'll put it on for you.
Okay, if you go to page 3, I think you all know my background, but I will share that when growing up in Ohio, our holidays around Veterans Day and Memorial Day were spent selling poppies in our town, because my father was the state president of the American Legion in Ohio. So all 7 kids were standing on the street corner selling poppies to fund the organization. So it's always interesting to know that there are people that still do celebrations for Veterans Day and Memorial Day, although they're not done as many in the South as there are in the North. There seems to be a different kind of respect going on there. But on March 17th, we actually met our challenge by limiting the number of clients served in person. We had to go to serving, to close our front office space, and our employees then worked 1 day a week for the next 2 months and rotated in and out to keep from passing the virus among our employees. And we totally closed our tax collector office to the public March 20th. And on the 24th, we opened in our phone center, or our call center, so that people would call in, and we did email only and mail only. So our back office business was going, because of course, if it doesn't go and we don't get money collected, then the government in Palm Beach County can't operate. April 27th, we reopened our Delray Beach office for driver's license appointments only. On May 4th, all of our offices reopened to the public, some by appointment only. And on June the 1st, we transformed all in-person service to appointment only. And we took the opportunity during this time, because we've been working on a new appointment system, to actually implement that, and then begin slowly to increase the number of appointments to be able to get in our office. And we're now actually serving more people than we did before the virus. And it's in a much more respectful manner, without all the confusion in our offices and the number of people, because you can't get in our office until your time to go to your appointment is. To limit the COVID, you must wear a mask, all of those things. And then August the 3rd, because of some discussions with our employees, we implemented daily employer temperature taking and blood oxygen level checks every day before you could get in the building. And I know there's some discussion about what that really does, but for our employees, it was an opportunity to say, We hear what you say. You want us to do this. This makes you feel safer. And so we implemented that. And now we're talking about, I don't know when we unimplement some of these things, like wearing masks, our employees. We spent about $350,000 upgrading our offices to put protections in place for our employees and our clients so that COVID was the passage of it in our offices, to my knowledge, has been very limited. We even implemented 30-minute lunch hours to keep our employees from going out in the public during the day. We are beginning to phase in 45-minute lunch hours with Palm Beach County moving to phase 2, although my belief is in 4 or 5 weeks, you're going to begin to see again an increase in COVID just because of the lack of testing that we're doing. And we're going to begin to see that again. So we may be implementing some more stringent regulations because we did have an outbreak in our call center. One of our staff brought it into the call center, and we basically had 4 people left that could work in our call center. And every time we have had an employee that is tested positive, the county has a team of people they've developed to come in and sanitize your office and to take care of that. But our employees are absolutely responsible for every morning and every night sanitizing their desk and their workspace to keep all of our employees safer. So that has helped. With the new appointments, it did reduce our overcrowding. You can go to the next page if you want to. No. Yeah, schedule an appointment in service. You just go to our website and you can schedule the category or the kind of appointment you want based on where you want to do it. You may not be able to get in Delray, but you could probably get in one of our other service centers. So look at all service centers when you're making appointments and don't just think Delray Beach or our service center in Green Acres is the only place that you can go. We don't accept walk-ins any longer. You must have an appointment, and we will work with you if you neglected to understand the notice that we send out that goes out 90 days before your driver's license is up for renewal or your title or tag, and you don't make the appointment soon enough and can't get in our office. We will, if you go to our client service advocate or call our service center, my staff will work to see if we can get you in. There are under some circumstances, we're not going to do that unless it's an emergency. But we are working with people. There are services that you have to come in our office, which would be a new resident and a transfer of an out-of-state title, road tests and written tests, and complex title work. If you are not real ID when you move to Florida, if you come and get a Florida driver's license, you must become real ID at the time, which means that there's a number of documents that you have to bring. And this is really a federal law. We don't have any control over that, but it is required. And the deadline for that, because of COVID, has been set back another year until next October. So we have about 88,000 residents here in Palm Beach County who are not real ID compliant. Some of them may be people that don't really drive anymore and would just want an ID card. Some of them may be people that are just are not interested in traveling. And so the real ID is not important to them because that prohibits you from getting on a commercial airline flight and going anywhere in the world once this is fully implemented, or going into a federal building. But it is, our county is we're doing pretty good on that, although we had a campaign running before the COVID hit, and we're probably going to start that campaign again this fall to make sure people get in to get real ID compliant. Excuse me. You can go to www.pbctax.com to make your appointment. And as I said, if you have issues or trouble making an appointment, please call our call center and they'll try and walk you through this and assist you so that you can get into our office in required time. And as I said, we spent about $350,000, and that was CARES money that came down from the federal government that we got through the county program. But all of our clients and employees must wear a mask or a face covering. We installed protective barriers at all front counter workspaces. There's no waiting or seating in our lobbies anymore. There is additional cleaning and sanitizing, and so social distancing measures are in place. So we've marked off the floor so you know where the 6 feet is. There are potentially some seats in our central office because those seats are arranged and have actually been attached to the floor, so we could not move them. But in all of our offices, we've moved out all of our seating so that no one's sitting in the office that could potentially have the virus. You could turn the page if you could. Okay. So, and we also took the opportunity during this 2 months we had off, because most of our administrative employees work, but our frontline employees, as I said, only worked 1 day a week, and they rotated in and out of all the branches. But we did update our website so it's much easier to use. And one of the issues that we really had to update was it had to become ADA compliant for universal access, which most websites in our country were not, and because of federal law that is requiring that, you're beginning to see everyone update that so they're ADA compliant. We updated our contact forms, mobile responsive design has changed. It's really much easier to use, and the feedback we've gotten from our clients has been actually pretty good. And one of the reasons we did it was because of the feedback from our clients that said we needed to change. And here's some ideas. So we always go out in the marketplace, and actually we sometimes do focus groups with folks like you also to see what kind of ideas you have about what would make us more client friendly on the website. I will say during COVID, about 25% of our walk-in business has shifted to the internet, which actually is good for us. What it means in the long run is that we would have less employees in our office. There would be less overhead costs, but we're still in the beginning stages of trying to figure out, is that going to be a long-term change or what? So we haven't really made changes in our staff, the level of our staff, but we're watching that very closely in our office. Could you turn the page? As you know, you can pay real estate and tangible property taxes. And tangible property taxes are a business. It's the furniture and fixtures in their business. We do collect delinquent tangible property tax, tourist development tax, local business tax receipts. We have a contract with the Department of Motor Vehicles to do renewal registrations and renewal driver's licenses that you can do online service with. And you can get, there's so many questions that we actually got from the client base about what they wanted to know that was confusing, because our laws are confusing. They confuse me some days. You can download most of the forms and applications, and you can contact us through our client advocate if you have questions, and we need to help you through a process. Or frankly, if you have a process because it's or a question or an issue because of something our office has done that was incorrect, then we will be there to help fix whatever that is. Could you turn to the next page? Our budget is approved by the Department of Revenue. The way our budget works is it's funded through all the fees and commissions that we collect. We actually don't go to the county commission or the state for any direct funding. Now, we do get fees for driver's licenses and transactions we do for other agencies besides the county. But our budget this year is $31.3 million. Our total fees collected last year was 77, and we return the difference to all the taxing authorities and the people we collect on behalf of. We don't return anything to the state because frankly, they don't pay us enough money to even cover our costs for doing driver's license. It's really property taxes that pay for that service. And we're in a constant discussion with the state to increase the services or increase the fees for driver's license and issuing and titles and registrations. would you turn to the next page? And then this is pretty important because it really says the scope of what our business does. Of 882,255 people in our 6 offices that we served throughout 2019. Our average wait time was 42 minutes, and we served 317,000 people by phone and by email. Those are the emails we get where people have either issues we need to resolve, or they have questions, or they need to understand how they can access service. So we had about 12,642 of those, and we have a pretty complicated CRM system set up to be able to receive those and disperse those emails out to our staff so they can answer the questions. And then we served online about 550,000 people online. And our website, we had 1.5 million website visits, or what in the business called website hit, that someone goes to your website for information that they need to conduct a transaction or just to understand the issues. So as we said, our number one service though is driver's license. It's about 52% of our business. We got that responsibility from the state of Florida about 8 years ago. They mandated that all tax collectors begin doing driver's license issuing. And I can tell you that the fees we collect for driver's license issuing, as I said, do not cover the cost of the services. So we can do a free DL check to see if you have any stops, holds, or violations on your license or your title. Because if you do, you cannot renew your driver's license or get a new title for your car, or a new sticker for your car. That has to be paid prior to that. And sometimes you have to go to the clerk's office to do that. And I will tell you that the Tax Collectors Association in the state is actually one of our number one legislative priority is to connect all the different toll authorities in the state of Florida, so that we can go to one API through the Department of Motor Vehicles to look these up. Now, if you have a toll violation in Miami-Dade Expressway, you have to go to them. Or if you have one on the Turnpike, you have to go to them, or you have to call them. And it's very costly for our business to do this and not have access to a computer system. So that is our number one priority this year, which actually should help our client base and be able to remove these stops and holds on their driver's license or violations. And a $1 parking ticket can keep you from renewing your driver's license or your title or registration. So it's really important. We issued in 2019 about 219,000 driver's license, ID cards, 31,000, and our driving tests and exams are like 72,000. And a lot of those are youngsters that are just coming on board, torturing their parents with getting a permit to drive, which is pretty frightening to me on the highways that we have here for young people to be on the roads. But that's just my personal opinion. And since I don't have any children at this time, it doesn't matter. You want to go to this is our Real ID update. The Department of Homeland Security extended the deadline due to COVID, and we have actually 84,000 people in Palm Beach that don't have it. But next year, once again, you will have to have Real ID compliant. And you can look at your driver's license, and the upper right-hand corner is a gold star. That means that you have furnished all the information to our office so that you can, in fact, become that you are Real ID compliant. Do you want to turn the next page? Registrations expire on the first registered owner's birthday. It is not the month of your birthday, it is the day of your birthday, and it is midnight when it expires. You get a notice 90 days prior to your driver's license and your title registration. My suggestion is please pay attention to it. Like most people, and I'm guilty of this also, I put it on my desk and I say, I'll deal with that later. But Now that we've gone to appointments only, and you may have to come in our office, my suggestion to you is to get that mailed in or go on the website and see if you could renew it there. As you know, you get a one-time 8-year registration. And after that, then you would have to come in our office for renewals. And on your driver's license, it's the same thing, because I guess they want to see us as we age, the pictures, so that they know that we're really that person. I don't know why the license is that way, but disabled parking permits there are two kinds. There's a temporary one, and then there's a long-term, with long-term mobility impairments or legally blind. They're valid for 4 years, and then you must get the letter from your doctor to bring in our office so that we can renew it. And we would do that. The temporary permit is $15, and then 100% disabled veteran, there's no fee, and you're eligible for the disabled license plate at no charge, and you're exempt from paying parking fees statewide. So if you're 100% disabled, there's no fees on any of those services. And I don't know that there's any issue with people receiving that, but if you have an issue, please let us know so that we can help you through that and make sure that you get what is properly, what you're properly entitled to if you're 100% disabled veteran. We could go to the next page. During this last property tax season, the governor extended the deadline for property tax payments from March 31st to April 15th. It really gave taxpayers an additional two weeks to pay without penalty. And that was very successful, because a lot of people were not, frankly, during that time period, were not able to appropriately pay that fee at the time. Our office did accept delinquent payments online from April 16th to April 30th, because typically April 1st is when your taxes become delinquent. So you really got 15 days to be able to forgive for 15 days without a penalty. But we then began doing it April 16th to April 30th. And we also waived the requirement for certified funds drawn on a U.S. bank for delinquent payments. We had that regulation in place because if your taxes are delinquent and you haven't paid them, and you send us a check that we receive back NSF and the delinquent deadline has passed, we have no way to add you to the whole process of delinquent payments if that's done after April the 30th. So we typically did not do that. I'm not sure we're going to do that again next year. We know that currently we are beginning to see, I think the clerk of the court has 1,000 foreclosures caseload that hasn't been processed because the courts are just beginning to open. And there are a number of evictions that are in the court system right now. So our office and the clerk's office, we're going to begin to be challenged in Palm Beach County. And I think it's going to affect the number of homeless families that are going to be on the streets because they can't pay their rent. And it's not going to be pleasant. So, you know, the county is using some of their care funds to fund rent payments and also house payments. So that's a good thing. If you want to go back to the property tax distribution, you have it, the next one. In Palm Beach County schools in the tax year 2018, they received $1.26 billion. In Palm Beach County, I know everyone thinks when we say we collect $3 billion that the county has lots of money, but Palm Beach County itself, that combined total represents all of this. And Palm Beach County itself has $885 million, and about 51% of that is our law enforcement budget. So other municipalities we collect on behalf of is $624 million, and other taxing authorities, which would be special taxing districts, non-ad districts is about $1.1 billion. So when you look at the numbers this way, you recognize that Palm Beach County has about $450 million to spend for streets, for street lights, for all the other services that we do in our county. And keep in mind, in the sheriff's budget, he also has part of his budget is mental health employees that work with people in the jail. As you know, that most of the folks that are in jail usually have a low-level drug problem, or they have some challenging mental health issues, and he's created that mental health unit to really help our county, and it's a model that's being looked at nationwide. So we do have some pretty unique things going on in Palm Beach County. You want to go to the local business tax? This is any person selling merchandise or services in our county must have a local business tax receipt. Our total licenses were like 88,000, and we collected $5.1 million, and a lot of the payments were online. But this year it's interesting because of the county's CARE money and being able to help small businesses. We actually assisted them with a number of people who had never been legal in our county until they wanted to apply for CARE funding. So we actually increased the number of licenses and actually got a better idea of how many people really operate a business in Palm Beach County, because you have to have that license to be able to apply for and receive CARES money to assist your business. So that was a good thing for us. And then we're going to our poor tourist development tax, the slide, the next one. We've been pretty successful in increasing the collection of tourist development tax. And if you know anyone in your neighborhood is doing this and they're not registered or paying the bed tax, please let us know and we will contact them. Although understand it's not them that's paying the bed tax, they're charging the person who's renting, and then they should remit it to us. But this tax is a tax the county, actually the state authorizes the creation of an ordinance in counties to do bed tax. And we have what's called an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with the county, and they just passed a new ordinance about 2 years ago that we worked with them on to give us more tools in our toolbox to be able to enforce it. Unfortunately, because of COVID, our bed tax collections, which you won't see until the 2020 totals, are down about $30 million this year. What that really means to our county is that money funds many organizations throughout our county that attract tourists to this county. And so it does advertising, it's like the sports funding, many other entities that we fund, but all of that will be reduced this year. So it's going to be a struggle until our tourist industry gets back on its feet, and they're beginning to, but there's still not a lot of people traveling. And frankly, from my perspective, I can understand why you would not be traveling. And if you turn to the next page, we can actually see the impact of the COVA on our county. We have actually just reopened in August to allowing bed rentals, although there were a number of people who illegally did it, which the county, when we referred them to the county, they actually chatted with them. So hopefully that won't occur, because those people could come in our county and pass COVA around without us knowing it. And I don't think any of us want that. If you want to go to the next page. We ask you not to bring cash into our office. We would prefer credit cards, or debit cards, or some other payment method that is not cash, because as you know, paper bills contain bacteria and viruses for long periods of time. Now, our employees do wear gloves. Some do, some don't. We recommend that they do, but wearing gloves for 8 hours a day is, as you can imagine, pretty challenging for your hands. But our credit card limit is, as you can see, if you have over $1 million in taxes, it's right below that, we would allow you to use a credit card. So, and we want to share that the convenience fees that you pay for using a credit card, they are not kept by our office. Those are actually retained by the vendor, the service processor that we use. If you want to pay over the internet, my recommendation is for you to use e-check because there are no fees. You just have to pay it maybe 2 weeks before your taxes are due, so that you can use an e-check and there are no fees, which is what many people do. Or we do have, I'm sure you know, we have a system where you could pay 4 tax payments a year, but you have to sign up for that before April the 1st of this next year, so that we can put you on that system, and then you're billed quarterly. It's like they take your tax payment from the previous year and divide it by 4, and then if there's an adjustment, it's added to your last payment. Unfortunately, if a person does not pay, then they're kicked off. They're kicked off the payment system, and they would have to re-register the next year. So, you know, this is, somebody asked me the other day, or asked one of my employees how proud they are to work for our office, that without the tax collector's office, our communities would not be existing because of the lack of ability to collect taxes the way that we do and fund our government services, which became even more important during COVID. So I think that we're an essential business. We have to be there. And, you know, for some of my employees, that was a struggle to understand because they all wanted to stay home and get paid. And I said, no, we have to provide services. And even if they're limited right now, we have a legal and a moral responsibility to do that in our community to fund our government services. So if anyone has any questions, as you know, our offices are open from 8:15 to 5 o'clock every day, all 6 offices. There's our website, our client advocate, and you can call our call center, and we will do everything we can to assist you with whatever issue you're facing. So thank you. Does anyone have any questions? There's one. No?
I'm on the chat feature, and there is no one that's asked questions, but if you'd like to present a question to Ann, just put it into the chat. Howard?
Well, you know, let me just say one thing. I've used their website to renew driver's licenses and so on, and it is very easy to use. It is much improved from what it was, and I urge everyone to, you know, to use it as much as possible. I was amazed at some of the comments that Ann made about foreclosures, and obviously we know that there would probably be a loss of resources to some of the things in Palm Beach County, and it's kind of sobering when you really think about it.
Well, and I think that I feel very thankful that I have a job, and my employees do also, and that in terms of financial stability, the COVID hasn't affected me that way, but many, many people it has. And it's going to be frightening when we see the full results of this.
Yeah, I know. My granddaughter is at college, and fortunately she's in an apartment, not in a dormitory, and I just can't figure out why some of these kids act the way they do when they know, you know, we're in this situation. So
Starts at the top.
yeah.
It starts with the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership.
So there's one question from Chuck Stroller, and the
Okay.
question is, how firm is the budget for the sheriff? I fully support law enforcement, but question the amount of the sheriff's budget.
Well, I think his budget has already been accepted by the county commission this year. And I will say that the county has stepped up and they are now putting cameras on all their PBSO officers after the summer that we've had. And part of the issue, I guess it's millions of dollars to fund those. So there'll be a one-time purchase of those for all the PBSO officers. But his budget is typically approved by the county commission. And if there's a challenge, it goes to the governor, actually. I've never seen that done, a challenge.
Who is permitted to challenge it?
Any citizen could. County commission can refuse to fund it. And the sheriff can go to the governor.
Okay, Eric?
Now, my paid political ad, I'm running for re-election this year, and I am on the and would appreciate your support. And guys, thanks. I really appreciate being included in something like this.
Eli, you have a question?
Yes, normally in October, we get an estimated tax sent to each home. Will that be delayed this year or?
No, it's actually done in August and you've already received it. And if you haven't, you should call the property appraiser's office.
Okay. I didn't receive it.
Yeah, well, call the prop PA's office and talk with them about it if you did not receive it. I mean, it's like the mail is, as we know, challenging right now because the county actually sent out masks to every household in Palm Beach County. And I didn't get them, but I guess there were thousands of them in the post office because they couldn't be delivered because they didn't have the staff to do it. So I don't know. It's I would just call the PA's office and talk to them.
Thank you very much.
But if you have homestead, your taxes can't go up over 3%.
Right.
So if you're non-homestead, that's a different issue. Any other questions, guys?
Guess not.
All
Well, I
right, thank you very much, Ann.
Thank you.
Yeah, for a wonderful presentation. We've all learned quite a bit. And you have my vote.
Oh, thank you. All for a bagel.
Yeah. Well, the next time that we have bagels, we will invite you.
Oh, good, because I love them. I try to, they like end up on your hips somehow. Anyhow, thank you and have a great day.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you for attending. I hope it was informative. It was certainly informative for me. And does anybody have any other questions about the men's club activities? Chuck?
You're
Unmute
mute,
you.
John.
Hey, Howard, I think most of us share what was today was pretty good, but I'm really disappointed in the number of folks that are on.
Yeah,
So we need to do a better job. You know, it's one thing when we pay for a performer. It's another thing when we invite a government official and we've only got.
well, I
But
can
just-
tell you there were 56 people who registered. So you're right. I agree with you, but we can only do the best we can. And
it may be the subject matter. I mean, if you get somebody now talking about the mafia, you have more interest.
Yeah.
My only concern is when you invite a government official on a Sunday morning.
yes, I agree.
30, that doesn't speak well of us as a community.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you for attending. I hope it was
Excuse me, Howard,
Stanley.
I raised a can, 2 questions. The Wick Theater, it's going to be difficult to say, I want to keep the tickets if we don't know what their social criteria is, distancing, and what they're going to do for cleaning. Just to say you can order it sometime like that, doesn't make much sense. I think they need to show everybody, or at least explain what they're going to do before we make a decision whether to do this or not.
I'll let Barry answer that.
Okay, so what I will do, in my letter that will come out to all of you, I will ask that very question and make sure that I include it in the memo that's going out to everybody tomorrow. All right, once I get a hold of Mark, I've already prepared the memo. I will share it with the board this afternoon. I will ask that question, and that is a good question. So I will make sure I include that in the memo that goes out to you.
Thank you. Another quickie, if we change our minds because of some reason, probably virus related, is that feasible? In other words, let's assume in February, we decide that the COVID has not improved enough. Can we change our can we change our acceptance to any other show in the future?
Okay, so this is what they're willing to do for us. They will issue a gift certificate. But that's a decision that you'll probably have to make over the next few weeks. If you're not comfortable, and as I said, I will see, what accommodations they're making in their March to early April performances inside the theater itself. But if you're not comfortable, they will offer you a gift certificate for the future.
Thank you. What about a parking discount?
Yeah,
Worth a try, right?
yeah. Good try, Stan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody